I am going to go a little bit off the beaten path today, and I'm going to talk to you about a way that you can add one or more shares per month of Tesla stock to your portfolio without really having to do anything serious, without having to spend any money. I'm not selling anything. I'm not going to tell you you should sign up for some project or program. This is just stuff that I've learned over the years. In particular, a lot of my clients have been mortgage lenders, and I have really studied and studied and studied for ways that people could lower their budget so they could afford the mortgage that they wanted. So here's a dozen different things that I've come up with. I hope this is useful for you. If it is, this is Randy Kirk, and you could like this kind of content. And if you don't like it, go ahead and tell me in the comments, hey, Randy, this is not what I signed up for. Certainly, if it doesn't help you, please say that. But if it does help you, if you get one idea out of these 12 that could save you $250 to $500 a month, or several of them together could save you $250 to $500 a month, that would be 1 or 2 shares a month that you could go and spend on Tesla stock, which could turn into thousands and thousands of dollars as the stock goes up over the next few years. All right, let's talk about my 12 hot tips. Number 1, I know this is obvious, but it isn't obvious because you're not doing it. I have to be constantly reminded, get rid of all the recurring charges that you don't need anymore. You are being charged for subscriptions and you're being charged for different services. Go through your bank account, all your credit card accounts, go through your PayPal, go through your Venmo, and find out where you have recurring charges. It will take you, I'm going to say, even if you have 10 credit cards and Venmo and PayPal, maybe it's going to take you 15 minutes, maybe an hour, tops an hour. And maybe you'll just get rid of, let's say, maybe you find 3 things that you don't really want anymore that you're paying a subscription on month after month after month. I do this a couple of times a year. Just about 4 weeks ago, I did this, and I eliminated $175 in subscriptions that I no longer needed. Okay, there's $175 right there. That's almost enough for 1 share of stock per month. All right, so that's number 1. Number 2, call your cable TV. If you're still on cable, call your cable TV provider and say that you're planning to go, offline. You're going to get off the grid. You're no longer going to pay for cable services, and have them talk you into staying. They will talk you into staying by offering you some kind of a annual, like a 1-year promotion, some kind of a special price, or they'll just lower your price in general. Almost every single time this works. Let's say that it saves you $25 a month, maybe $50 a month is probably a good, somewhere in that range. It's what's going to save you. So if you haven't done this in a while, go ahead and do that. The alternative choice is to get off the grid with regard to cable. I no longer use cable. I'm 100% now on Wi-Fi. I didn't need all the stuff that was available on cable. I was only using a fraction of it. We watch a lot of television here, lots of movies, like to look at the old movies, as well as the new ones. And you know what? We have plenty of content. So if you're paying a cable television company to be on their service, get off of it entirely. That might save you $100 or $120 a month. So that would be number 2. So now we're getting close to another share of stock. All right, number 4, your cell phone, same thing. Whoever your provider is, whoever's giving you those services, they're probably bundled someplace with some other things or whatever. Get on the phone and tell them that you've been made an offer by another company. Or if you don't want to tell that little white lie, you can say, I'm considering talking to all the other companies about whether I'm going to stay with you or go someplace else. They will definitely bargain with you. They will definitely negotiate. They will give you something off of what you're doing now. Sometimes it's only for a year. Sometimes it's not for a year. Sometimes it's for 2 years. Anyway, whatever the situation is, you're going to save some money. Maybe again, $25 a month, but it's a phone call. That's all it takes. If they say, nope, you know what? You're getting the best deal in the world. There's nothing we can do for you. Well, pick up and call some of the other suppliers of the service and see if there's a better deal out there. There probably is, and they will be glad. They're so excited about switching you over. Okay, next would be your utilities. Believe it or not, your utilities are the same way. Not quite the same though, however. In most states and most jurisdictions where the utilities are under the gun by the local agencies and bureaus and rules to get your use of electricity, your use of natural gas, your use of water, all of these things to get these to come down. They don't want you to use as much. Well, that's a good deal for you. If you can use less, if you can use it at different times of day, if you can make some kind of an arrangement, find out what your utilities are currently offering. Maybe between all of your utilities, what if you could save another $25 a month? It's starting to add up, right? But yes, you can just call the utility company. You say, look, I'm trying to save money on my gas. I can't really afford. I don't know about what happened in the rest of the country. I know that in Southern California, we got nailed last month on our natural gas bills. Holy mackerel. I don't know why. I haven't been able to figure it out, but for some reason, it was like 50% higher than the highest bill I've ever received. Okay, the next one is your budget. You've probably heard this suggestion before, maybe not. The best way to find out where you're overspending on things that you don't care about. See, I'm not looking for you to change your lifestyle here. None of these recommendations require that you give up your trips to the whatever it is that you like to do. Okay, I'm not going to go on the list. All right, but what you can do is you can just take your budget and you can, for 3 months, you can keep track of every single payment. Now, everything that you spend money on. Now, this used to be a lot harder because we had cash, right? We dealt in cash. Now it's become super easy. You can go through your PayPal and your Venmo and your bank account and your credit cards, and you can go down and you can see exactly what you're spending money on. You don't even have to do this over a period of 2 or 3 months, unless you're using a lot of cash still, which is odd in today's world. So you can actually run a spreadsheet and you can go, oh, this is what I'm spending money on. Oh, this is what I'm spending money on. And you might be shocked. You may find out that you're spending, $90 a month on Starbucks. And you're like, you know what? $90 a month on Starbucks is too much. I'd be happy to spend $45 a month, but not 90. And so you can make that kind of adjustment. You're going to find several things. Okay. You're definitely going to find things that you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I shouldn't be spending that much in that area. So that's another thing you can do. I'm just saying maybe it's $25 a month. All right. So next would be that you would shop your insurance. You hear it all the time on the television, call Geico and, check out the insurance, call this company, call that company, and find out what the insurance rates are. Now, if you've been with the same insurance company, like I have been for, 30 years or something, it's really, really hard to shop your insurance. So if that's the case, it may be that you're not going to save very much, because I have my homeowners and my car insurance and my umbrella and everything else is all under one company, and it's been there forever and ever. So I've shopped and shopped and shopped. I'm not going to save much. But on the other hand, my 27-year-old son last year needed insurance, and I gave him a recommendation to call an agent, called the agent, saved lots of money. So it's every situation is different. It doesn't take more than an hour of your time to check around. And in this case, you might be looking at saving $25, $50, maybe even $100 a month by switching carriers between all the different insurances that you have. Okay, now this is going to sound like the next two are going to sound like I'm a shill, and that maybe I'm getting paid by these people to talk about them, but I'm going to give you my reasons. I shop at Costco. We buy the bulk of our grocery bill each month and some of our non-grocery bill from Costco. And there's a reason for that. Again, if you follow me, you know that I was a manufacturer and I was selling. I never sold Costco because I didn't have the right product for them, but I was selling Walmart and Target and all the rest of the folks, all the major mass marketers, all the grocery stores, all the drug stores. I know how the buying process works. Okay, I've been in front of the buyer at Save-On. I've been in front of the buyer at Walmart. I know how these buyers work. Typically, what happens is you go into the buyer, you make a presentation of your product, you tell them what the cost is, you tell them what it's doing elsewhere, and then the buyer says, well, that looks like a good item for me, or it doesn't look like a good item for me. And then they mark it up 40 to 50% margins if it's a non-food. That's how it works. The buyer probably gets to make the decision. If the buyer doesn't make a decision, he takes it to a buying committee, and the buying committee usually rubber stamps unless they just see a big red flag. That's how it works. Doesn't work that way at Costco. At Costco, you go in with your product, they took a look at your product. Then if they're going to make a decision, they bring in every other product that's like that. They analyze all the products. They think about the packaging, about how could they change the packaging to be smarter. They're only going to do one product for every category. You don't get 15 choices of mustard. They got one choice of yellow mustard. Okay. And they say, well, we want it in 10 gallon or 5 gallons instead of in 9 ounces. They tell you exactly how they want it packaged, how it's going to be shipped into their warehouse. It's going to go on a big warehouse shelf. It's not going to go individually located on the shelf. As a result of all of this, when you shop at Costco, again, it sounds like I'm a shill, and I'm sorry that it sounds that way. You are going to get the top of the line products, and you're going to get them for the lowest possible cost. It's not always 100% true. I've seen situations where somebody else has something for a lower cost than Costco, but it's rare. And the reason for that is they only mark up stuff 15%. Mark up from cost. It might be margin. At 15%, it's only a slight difference between markup and margin. So they're only talking about 15%, where most of the time in the mass market, you're talking about 40%. And commonly, Costco's buying it for less. So you're definitely going to get it for a better price, but you're going to have to pay the annual dues to do that. So what you can buy at Costco, you should be buying at Costco. There's a reason Costco is growing so rapidly and the stock carries such a high PE. Okay, number 12 is going to be, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself here. No, number 9, Amazon Prime. Everything else I buy on Amazon Prime. No, that's not quite true. We buy fresh vegetables sometimes locally. We buy some small items locally at a regular grocery store. And from time to time, we have to walk into a drugstore. But for the most part, everything else is bought on Amazon. Why is that? Because of the reviews and because of the cost. So I'm going to buy a new product. I go on, I read the reviews. If you're not reading the reviews, you're missing out. You're always going to be able to. The reviews are, yes, there is people that play with the reviews and they pay people to give them better reviews and whatnot. If you read enough reviews, you'll get the point. You'll get the reality. And then you can check with the price with dozens of other people selling the same product or similar products, and you can make an incredibly great choice and you can have it the next day. So between Costco and Prime, that's where I do most of my purchases. That may not work for you. It works for me, and I save money. So between Costco and Prime, I'm going to say you're going to save another $100 a month. All right. Then I promise not to suggest changes to your lifestyle, but there's another place that you can get a huge amount of savings, and that would be things like, are you a smoker? Do you buy drinks out, et cetera, et cetera? Well, there's things like that. Going to lots and lots of fancy restaurants, you can certainly save money there, but I'm not going to go there. Okay. That was my very last one, and I skipped ahead. Okay. Let me come back. So the next one is on credit cards. If you have any credit card debt and you're paying interest, no way. Cut it out. Don't do that. Do not pay interest on credit cards. Number 1, if you have credit cards and you don't have very much credit card debt, but you're paying $10 a month, $20, $50 a month in interest, $100 a month in interest, pay them off. Get out of the credit card thing. It's a ridiculous amount of interest. Now, maybe you've got a credit card that you're only paying 6 or 9 or 10% interest, and you're like, you know what, that's good for me. I'd rather put the money into Tesla. I'm not going to have a big argument with you. But a lot of credit cards today are 17%, 20%, 25, 26% interest. You don't want to be paying those credit cards. Get out of the business of paying those massive interest amounts on your credit cards. There's so many ways to get out of that. One is just to pay them off over time. Another one is to transfer them to a 0 credit card situation. If you have decent credit, I would say above 675, certainly above 700, you're going to be able to get thousands of dollars in 0 interest rate credit cards. Now, you have to pay them off in 15 to 18 months, because at that point, they'll go to 23, 25, 27%. But the idea is you get it at 0 interest now, and over time, over that 18 months or 15 months, you pay them off. That's something you should do today. If you currently have any credit card debt, switch them to 0 interest. Now, there is a 3 or 4%. I would shoot for one that has a 3% or 4% charge for moving the amount over to your credit, to the new credit card. But that's 4% over 18 months. It's cheap change to have an opportunity to pay that debt off and get debt free with regard to high interest rate credit cards. You can also do a HELOC on your mortgage and get it down to around 7% right now. That would be another way that you could solve the problem instantly if the numbers are larger. Even if they're large, if you have large amounts of credit card debt out there, you can get $10,000 on one of these zero interest credit cards. Okay, number 11. Here's a wild and crazy one. Now that we've all gone back to work, are you eating out for lunch? It's a bad idea on so many levels, and I know this sounds like it would be a change in your lifestyle issue, but it's really not a change in your lifestyle to eat in rather than eating out. You're going to save so much in calories. You're going to save so much in food that's not that great for you. Bring your lunch to work. You're going to right there. My guess is in today's world, 7 times 5, 35. So that's $150 a month. There's almost close to it, 1 share of stock every other month in Tesla. So can you see where all this adds up? You can easily, on the ones that you haven't done yet or which you haven't done in a while, by doing this, you could probably save $200, maybe even $500 a month, and you could turn all that money into Tesla stock, and you will thank me for this next year. You'll thank me for it next year, because if you put let's say you buy 2 shares a month for the next year, that's 24 shares, and the stock goes to 400, which I say it will go to. You do the math. Okay, this has been fun. I know this is different than normal, and if you hate it, let me know you hate it. If you like it, let me know you like it. And then join Patreon. And it's been amazing. It's been great talking to you today.